When deciding which place I wanted to analyze, I had to choose between a place that visited often or a place that I've never been to before. If I chose a place that I've visited often, I would already know how I felt about the place and the feelings that, aspects of the room conveyed. And if I chose a new place, I would be seeing it with fresh eyes and I wouldn't have to force a different mindset. I wrote down questions before entering that I needed to know in order to complete my essay. One of them was, what is the color scheme of the place? Because the color scheme obviously would affect the mood of the place. I needed to know what the exterior looks like because after multiple visits, you don't really pay attention to, every single aspect of the place. You definitely don't really pay attention to what the outside looks like or what feelings it gives you. I also wanted to know what stood out about the place. And one thing was the closeness of the tables, and it made people feel closer to the strangers around them. And then another thing was the amount of Spanish used, and the Spanish employees made it feel more authentic. And I had to also know who I should interview. Because if I interviewed the customers, they are most likely going to give more of an authentic view of the place because they're not obligated to be there. They obviously, chose to be there. But if I were to choose to interview an employee, I'd probably either get the restaurant to be really talked up, or I would get a tainted view of the place because they don't really want to be there. I wanted to figure out if who I went with affected how I felt about the place or what I noticed more about the place and how the place made me feel. So I went with different groups of people. Like once I would go with this group of friends and then another group of friends, and I would go with either my sister or my family. And I wanted to know what were the most important aspects of the place. And the first person was from the Washington Post. Her name was Mara Judkis. And she said that the closeness of the tables could either make the customers feel really close to each other or it can make them uncomfortable. And so I wanted to ask, that's what made me ask the customers how the closeness of the tables made them feel. And in the second source, in an article called Don't Sit Too Close to Me, it was about how some restaurants sacrifice space so they can make the tables further apart because it's such an important aspect of customer and guest satisfaction, because they don't want to be too close to each other and feel that interaction. So those are the two reasons why I really focused on how close the tables were and how that made the customers feel whenever I interviewed them.